Hi guys, it's Emily from Novel Novels and welcome to today's video. This is my April book haul, 30 books, 30 plus books, because I've got 31 to do to show you. Right, I'm going to be honest, some of these are carried over from March's book haul because I got them after I'd filmed March's book haul. So there is going to be the same thing is going to happen in May, that there are some books that I'm going to get at the end of the month because I'm filming this on Tuesday the 26th. I know that I'm going to the charity shop on the 28th and I've got, I think, 2 books definitely put by. And then on literally the 30th, the last day of the month, I'm going book shopping with Gemma from Reader Book Gem. And we got the day together. It's not just books, but predominantly we're going to the charity shops. We're also going out for lunch and having coffee shop. So I will probably buy a fair few books. So yet again, there'll probably be the same thing that will happen. It was kind of delaying books going on to each month. One of these days I'll get this under control and I'll get the dates right and I'll get it all hauled and it will all go right. But I'm not stressing. I've bought there's 31 books that are on this haul. I've unhauled 5 unread already. I don't know if there'll be any more unhauled. And I know for a fact that I've already read more than I've bought. So that's not bad. We've got 7 gifts to show you. And I bought 24 books. Now my goal was always to buy less than I know that I can read in a month. And 24 books, I've already read like 25 or 20. I think I've read like 28 already. So I'm doing well. That's positive. So that's what I wanted to do. Anyway, enough of the rambling. Let's show you what I've got. So the first 3 books are books I've been given by my next door neighbour, by one of my neighbours, Jean. She knows I love reading and she's given me some books. One of them is Salem Falls by Jodie Picoult. Obviously, like I said, I'm not going to go into too much detail about the books because it's 31 books and you don't want me rambling and this video being too long. But I've heard lots of things about Salem Falls and I've had mixed things about Jodie Picoult's books. I think I've liked them, but I know this one's very hard-hitting because the man you love is accused of rape and it's not the first time. What would you do? It's intriguing, but I know that I wanted to read this. I am going to separate the books out so I can count up how many of each genre I've got. Then she's given me... She's given me Margaret Dickinson, Reap the Harvest, which I think is like a second or something in the series, which is a bit silly of me to get a second in the series. But this is set in 1953, and Ella Hilston finds herself living on Bromsbury Farm with her grandmother Esther and is soon acutely aware of the mysteries surrounding her family's past. I do like Margaret Dickinson's books. She's an author I go to, so I just kept it because I like her books. So that's my historical fiction thinking. Then she lastly gave me a thriller because I'm getting into my thrillers at the moment. And this is If I Disappear, Will You Search For Me? I don't know too much about this, but I believe this is actually quite a new book out. And this is about true crime podcasts and the mysteries become an unlikely comfort and then it becomes an obsession. I don't want to know too much about this, but I know it's a thriller and I know it's a short thriller and it's a new one, so I'm going to have to read it. So that's that. Just thinking actually my thrillers should go there. Then the next 2 are my Tandem read-along books. I'll tell you one thing. I've been going on to Tandem website. Tandem are a publishing, I think not a publishing company, I believe they're a company that work with publishers through Instagram and they get you to send you books. You can apply for newsletters. I'm not going to publicise it, but they are brilliant. I've had 2 this month, and then I've just had the email to say that I've got one for 8 for May, and literally it's one that I screamed so loudly on my group chat with the girls because it's one that I'm really looking forward to, so I can't wait to show you that. But Tandem excelled themselves. Normally I like the books because I will only apply for a book now if I know that it's one that I want to read. And this month I got accepted for 2. You would have seen my wrap-ups, me talk about them a lot more. But the first one I had and I've already read is The Last Library by Freya Sampson. It's one that I'm going to keep. Like, sometimes I'll keep the books, sometimes I will give them away because obviously publishing will be good. But this one I freaking loved. It was in my April wrap-up part 1. It's a book I've loved. I'm going to give it to my mum to read and literally it was one of the best books ever. So I love it. It's about libraries. It talks about a book about books. Loved it. Then the one that I'm going to be finishing today, so even though it's going to be there, is Mad About You by Mahari McFarlane. I have read one other book by this author, and that was, I think it was Last Night, and I loved Last Night. It was the last book I read of the year in 2021. This is excelling itself. It's 5 stars all the way. I'm finishing this today and can't wait. I'll finish that this afternoon. So Tandem excelled themselves this month. Then I've got the Boy, the Mole, the Fox and the Horse, which was given to me by the lovely Jack for her read along. I've already read it again. It was in my wrap up part 1. Loved it. And it's one that I don't know how much I'm going to be like reading set bits of it, but I think I'm just going to keep going back to it as like a comfort book because it's really helped me and I loved it. So thank you, Jack. And then lastly, one of the lovely ladies that I work with at the charity shop, Ina, she's really into her thrillers, and she's given me this, which is a Sherry Lupina, someone we know, which is one of her newest books, I believe. And again, I've had real mixed feelings about this because I loved The Couple Next Door. I think it was The Couple Next Door. An Unwanted Guest I thought was all right, but this is supposed to be brilliant. It can be hard keeping secrets in a tight-knit neighbourhood, in the tranquil, leafy suburb of the ordinary streets, one where everyone is polite and friendly. An anonymous note has been left at some of the houses. I'm so sorry, my son has been getting into people's houses. He's broken into yours. And it's gorgeous hardback. It's a thriller. Cannot wait to read it. I'm really excited by that. Although you're going to get the theme here that I've actually got quite a few thrillers this month. So really is a mix. So those are all the books I've been gifted. And now onto the books that I've bought. So I've really loved them. 24 books this month, which isn't bad for me, but like I said, it will go up next month. I'm going to have to get on with my reading. The first one is Solitaire by Alice Oseman. Clint from Read Readers has loved about this, and I've heard so many things about this author's work, and I really want to read it. I don't even remember not being serious. As far as I'm concerned, I came out of the womb spouting cynicism and wishing for rain. My name is Tori Spring. I like to sleep and I like to blog. Last year I had friends. Things were very different, I guess, but that's over now. Now there's Solitaire and Michael Holden. I don't know what Solitaire are trying to do, and I don't care about Michael Holden. I really don't. Apparently someone said that it's brilliant, so I need to get round and I do need to get off my YA and read more YA, but that's my only YA book this month. Now for some of the other ones, and some of them I'm really excited about. Guys, if you think that any of these books that I've been given or I've bought that need to be prioritised on my TBR, need to be read sooner, please let me know, because I would love to know what to read first. Now the first one of my contemporaries is a book that I've already read. I've listened to it on an audiobook, and that was Girl, Woman, Other. Everyone knows about this book, but I got it on audiobook and from the library ages ago and loved it. And it's one that it's shortlist. I think it won the Women's Prize List in 2020. Everyone knows about it. It's about Britain, and it's been told by so many different stories. 12 very different characters in an intertwined journey of discovery. On audiobook, it was amazing. So I'm wondering what it's going to be like to actually read it in physical book. Everyone knows about this book. I loved it when I read it last. I wanted my own copy. Now I want my own copy of Mr. Loveman because I love that as well. So it's a really gorgeous copy. It's like folded over like that, and it's gorgeous. So had to get that. Then I am picking up all of Veronica Henry's backlist books because again, another contemporary author I've loved. This is one that I didn't have, and I bought it in the charity shop. It's one of her oldest books. I don't remember exactly how long it's been when it was published. I'm thinking, I like it better when it tells me the publishing dates. So this is like 2015, so it is one of her earlier works. Kate has only planned a flying visit to clear out the family home after the death of her mother. When she finds an anonymous letter, she's drawn back to her own past. Single dad Sam is juggling a deli and 2 lively teenagers, so romance is the last thing on his mind. Then Cupid fires up in an unexpected burrow. We've got 2 other characters. It looks like a good book. I don't need to know more. I love this author's work. So, yep, that's another one. This one I bought in honour of Jane Austen July, which is coming up. I'm guessing we'll have some fun retelling prompts, so I thought this one might be quite good for that. He's every woman's fantasy, and it's obviously me and Mr. Darcy. After a string of disastrous relationships, Emily Albright has had it with modern men. She'd rather curl up with Pride and Prejudice. I'm Emily, and I love Pride and Prejudice, although I've got a great man, I must admit. She dropped then step into a time when men were honourable and strode across horses into breeches, their damp shirts clinging to their chests. The men she meets are more into pleated trousers, two-timing and internet porn. So when her best friend invites her to Mexico for a week of margaritas and mine hunting, Emily books a guided tour of Jane Austen country instead. That's fair enough. I'd love to go to Jane Austen country. There are no men here. The coach is full of pensioners, apart from one Spike Hargreaves, a foul-tempered journalist, writing a piece on why most women would love to date Mr. Darcy. Then she walks into a room and finds herself face to face with Mr. Darcy himself, and every woman's fantasy becomes a woman's reality. This looks good. I'm hoping I will read this for Jane Austen in July. I think this one might be a priority. Then again, another author I love. I've read so many of Ali McNamara's books, and she is also an author that has chronic pain, so she's one that I really thoroughly support. This was on my Amazon wish list, so when I found it in a charity shop for about £1, I was like, gonna have it. When Darcy McCall loses her beloved Aunt Molly, she doesn't expect any sort of inheritance, let alone a small island. So I don't need to know too much more about this. So it's located off the west coast of Ireland. Tara hasn't been lived on for 4 years, but according to Molly's will, Darcy must stay there for 12 months in order to fully inherit. It's a big shock, and when she's even more shocked to hear that she needs to persuade a village full of people to settle here too. This looks really good. It's one I've wanted to have for ages. It's Ali McNamara. I love her work. Don't need to say any more than that. The next one is it's a new Lucy Dillon book. Again, this was out this year. It's a new release, so to find it in a charity shop, I screamed. Look how freaking gorgeous it is as well. This is one that is, again, I think it's going to be a priority. First the clouds, then the storm, but after the rain. So you've got Tara Hunter as a therapist on a mission to restore Longhampton's community spirit. I think this author writes a lot set in Longhampton. But with her boyfriend AWOL, her family fragmented, there's only the cat to talk to, Tara's life is crumbling. Then on top of everything, Tara's father, last seen walking out on her when she was 10 years old, is suddenly back. But after the rain, Dr. David Dalloway is Longhampton's new counsellor with an infuriating knack of reading people's minds. The last thing Tara needs right now, but he's caring, charming, and has an excellent at his job. This looks good. New release. Got to get it. I can see me getting priority as that. Another Lucy, and this is Lucy Diamond, who's another author. I've loved her works. Her contemporaries are really good. Ever wondered how your friends see you? Josie, Nell and Lisa go a long way back. They were flatmates and best mates in their day. And back in the 20s when their life was one large party. 5 years later, things are different. Josie's married with kids in the deepest suburbia. Free-spirited Nell has travelled the world, and Laura is on a push for a career. A reunion weekend in London seems a great idea to Josie until she discovers something that will change her life forever. Again, a contemporary, my kind of thing. Love it. Can't wait to read it. I've loved Lucy Diamond's work, so that's it. It's 2 Lucys. This is another contemporary, and this is Dolly Alderton's Ghosts. This has had mixed reviews. Now, my friend Jem from Read a Book Gem didn't like it, but other people have loved it. So life gets easier in your 30s, right? Though she has plenty to celebrate, Nina Dean in her 30s have not exactly been liberating, from fading friendships to exes popping out of the question. As her dad slowly loses his memories, her mum seems dead set on making new ones. Then she meets Max, who tells her on a date he's going to marry her. But what seems like an exciting new development will ensure that this year is Nina's strangest yet. Again, another gorgeous copy, one of those ones where it goes like that. I hope I like this. I hope that I'm different from Jem, and this is a very much my risky buy, but I'm hoping I like it. And then, obviously, you guys know I love Beth O'Leary's works. I've got all of her books, although my sister's still got bloody Fletcher. We'll get it one of these days. Newest release, Beth O'Leary's The No Show, and it is literally been raved about everywhere. No one needs to know about it. There's 3 different ladies all planning to meet the same guy. They don't realise they're all doing it. And this is they meet Joseph Carter if you can find him. So this is brilliant. I don't need to know too much about this. I believe I'm reading it in July with the amazing Ange from Angie's Book Chatter. Freaking can't wait. I've loved all of Beth O'Leary's work. Some of them have been my favourites of the year, and I really hope this one could potentially be it as well. And then the one that I literally do not need to say anything about this book because it's on my April TBR. It's been on about more videos than I've cared to mention. Young Mungo is being read in October, being read in this April, May, with the lovely Ange and Amy. It's just gut-wrenching, it's dystopic, it's family. I'm counting it in the contemporary art because it's not actually set in the... I don't know if this is historical fiction or contemporary, so I'm not sure which one to count this in. But it's born under different stars. Protestant Mungo and Catholic James live in a hyper-masculine world. Two worlds, two strangers. It's brilliant. I just can't wait to read it. I don't know. I'm going to count this as contemporary, which means I've bought what? I've gained, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11 contemporaries at the moment. That's not bad. That's quite dystopic to me. Young Mungo is obviously going to be talked about very soon. Now I've got my historical fiction, non-fiction and everything else, and I've realised this video is already 16 minutes and I've got loads more books to talk about. Probably need to say a little bit less on the rest of them. This one doesn't need speaking about. It's my one classic of the month, Swiss Family Robinson. I think this is published in 1812 originally, so this is quite an old book, and this continues to appeal to young readers. So it's like a children's classic, I believe, and I don't know too much about it, but I know that it's supposed to be good. Hoping I like it. Been told to buy it. Now I've got 2 more thrillers, so that is 4 thrillers I've got this month. The first one's a bit of a random one, Paris by the Book. I didn't actually realise this is actually a thriller, a mystery thriller. Some stories are waiting to be found. So, 12 weeks before Leah Edney arrives in France, her husband disappeared. Early one morning, she walked out the door and never came back, and all she's left with was a crumbling note in a cereal box. She discovers an unwritten manuscript, so it's like a mystery kind of thing. I bought it because it said by the book, it's a titled book, so that's why I bought it. The next one I bought because Danny from Danny's Book World has got it. Again, it's got the word book in the title. It's a thriller. Everyone is hiding a secret. One of them is murder. The book club was her idea. It was her way into the group, a chance to get close. I knew from the day she arrived she couldn't be trusted, and I was right. Because Alice didn't come to the village for peace and quiet. She came for revenge. Really excited by that one. That's 4 thrillers. Now I've got my historical fiction, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. That's quite good. First one is, again, it's another book that I bought because I've listened to it on audiobook and I wanted my own physical copy. It's The Confession by Jessie Burton. Gorgeous one. I think I found this the same day in the charity shops, and it's gorgeous. I loved it when I listened to it on audiobook. I love Jessie Burton's work. This is more of a modern historical fiction book. And everyone knows about this. It's Elise Morisseau meets the writer Constance Holden. She's quickly falls under a spell. Connie is sophisticated, bold and alluring. Everything Elise feels she's not. Then she follows Connie to LA, but in this... 3 decades later, basically, we've got Rose Simmons is trying to uncover the story of her mother, who disappeared when she was a baby. Having learnt that the last person to see her was now a reclusive novelist, Rose soon finds herself at the door of Constance Holden's house in search of a confession. I know I loved this book last time I read it, so I wanted my own copy. Another Danny-inspired book, because this is Danny's fault, The Last Reunion by Kay and Nunn. This is a new release-ish, and it's set in Burma, 1945, and we've also got Oxford, 1976, and then the third timeline is London and Galway, 1999. It's a 3 timeline, which I love the sound of. Different locations. I don't want to know too much more. So the first one is about Bee, Plum, Bubbles and Joy and Lucy, 5 young women looking for adventure. Then the second timeline is about something to do with in the height of an impossibly English summer. A woman slips into a museum and steals several rare Japanese manuscripts. And then the more modern timeline, on the eve of the millennium, Olivia, an art dealer, elderly, meets an elderly Beatrix, who I'm guessing is from the first timeline, who was hoping to sell her husband's collection of Japanese art. When they attend a New Year's party, more secrets will be spilled. This looks brilliant. I'm going to read this with Danny at some point. This is a book inspired by the lovely Nikki from Red Dot Reads. She talks about Dinah Jeffries' books. This looks gorgeous. It was in the charity shop. It's Daughters of War, set in Dordogne in 1944. Some Secrets Never Die. We've got 3 characters, Helene, Elise and Florence. Talking about France, set in France in that time. It looks gorgeous. It's a chunky book though, because it's massive. I believe it's like over 500 pages, but it's one I really wanted to read. It looks gorgeous. It's a real bit of a cover buy, really. And obviously because of her. Now another Danny inspired book. Why do I do this? I have friends on BookTube and you all inspire me to pick up authors. Danny raves about this author's works and thinks I'm going to love it. Dilys Court is the author that she talks about all the time. Nettie's Secret is book she said out of these ones, the ones that are in my charity shop to pick. If you've got any other author, if I like this, I've got loads more of this author's work in Baz Books. This is set in 7 Dials in London 1875. And thanks to her hapless father, Nettie Carroll has to grow up quickly. While Nettie is sewing night and day to keep the food on the table, her gullible father has trusted wrong man again. Left with virtually nothing but the clothes they stand up on, he's convinced their only hope lies across the English Channel in France. Looks good. It looks beautiful. Did I read that? This one, I love Jojo Moyes books. Another one that I'm going to be getting for next month is by Jojo Moyes. This is the Peacock Emporium. It looks gorgeous. It's set in the 60s. Oh, and I think it looks like 2 different timelines. First one is set in the 60s, and then the second one is 30 years on. Susanna Peacock finds refuge from her mother's shameful legacy in the shop, the Peacock Emporium. Looks gorgeous. There's a cover by. Love the look of it. The next one is a buy that was inspired from Gemma from Read a Book Gem. She read this last winter and loved it. The Snow Child by, I'm not going to try and say that name. It was set in Alaska in the 1920s. Jack Mabel had staked everything on a fresh start in a remote homestead. But the wilderness is a stark place and Mabel is haunted by the baby she lost many years ago. So this will be safe for the winter. Love the look of it. And there's another Gemma inspired book we have bought the same day, and this is, I meant to pick this up at the charity shop ages ago when me and Gemma were charity shopping, and I didn't. I picked up the wrong book. Gemma's got this, so we're going to read this together. This is The Governess. It's been all over Facebook and been all over BookTube. Progressive young teacher Marion Crawford arrives at the governess as a governess to the little Princess Elizabeth and Margaret. So this is, I really wanted this book for ages. So when I saw this at the charity shop, I was like, I have to get it. And I don't know if this is historical fiction or non-fiction, but I think it's about Crawford, who we've heard so much about. And she grows concerned as the girl's remoteness from real life. And this is just a brilliant story. I can't wait to read this. I think me and Gemma will be pushing this up high on the list. And then we got 4 non-fiction books. So that's quite good, actually. I won't talk about these too long. First one is an Alison Weir book. You guys know that I'm reading the Tudor books, obviously for Tudor Along, and this is one of her non-fiction books, and this is about Catherine Swynford, who is the first mistress and later the wife of John Gaunt, Duke of Lancaster, his charismatic lover. It's literally one of her non-fiction books. She's the mother of the Bufords, then the ancestors of the Yorkshire kings, the Tudors, the Stuarts, and every other sovereign since. So it's a non-fiction book I'm really looking forward to. We've actually got some pictures in this, so it's one that I can see me wanting to read sooner. This next one was my buy from the works. I've read all of this author, The Prison Doctor's other 2 works. This is one of her shortest books, but I believe it might be her last. And this is about the prison doctor sent abroad, so she's working abroad in the foreign national prison, and it's supposed to be very hard hitting but very good. Don't need to know more than that. Next one is Weve Got Broadmoor, literally on our doorstep, and I've been intrigued. This is a bit of a crime-ish book, but this is about the history of Broadmoor, and I'm really intrigued about it because it's literally Broadmoor's on our doorstep. I really want to read a bit more about what's inside Broadmoor, so I thought this was quite a good one. And then lastly, you know I'm addicted to the Cathy Glass books, and this is actually her latest one, which I found in the charity shop again. What is it me? I got so lucky with the charity shop this month. This literally is set around about the time of the COVID around the time of the first coronavirus and lockdown changing everything. So as this is her newest one, I can probably see me wanting to read this next month. I think this is unofficially going on my next month's TBR. When you'll see it, will be May TBR, I think, because if it's connected to COVID as well, but it's also about 2-year-old Jamie who got removed from his home after his mother leaves him alone all night to go partying. I really want to read this. I was going to buy it full price, and I never buy Kathy Glass books full price. This is one I'm really intrigued about, so I can see that one going quite high up the list. Anyway, you've now seen all the books that I've got in the lovely April. If you like any of them or want to buddy read them, let me know in the comments below. If there's any of these that I need to push up the TBR so I don't spend a few years reading until I read them, let me know. If there's any you think I should prioritise, let me know in the comments below. And also, lastly, is there any books that you bought in April that you want to tell me? I'd love to hear. I love hearing from my subscribers. You guys are all absolutely amazing. I hope you all bought some great books in April. If you do, like I said, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, not subscribed yet, ring on my ding-a-ling. And I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.